I8 are playing in this week's Group Red. There's a lot of excitement around them, but looking at the new Erangel drop spots for the league stage, I worry about three specific teams. I'm talking about Navi, IWNRX, and Falcons. These teams are dangerous for I8 because they're all either on or around Military Island, I8's drop spot for this weekend. Tiamba could also be a problem, but I've not included them here as I8 are more likely to favor the West Bridge and Tiamba has too many teams around them to try a serious bridge camp. Let's start with a brief overview of I8's playstyle. Normally, this team spreads out on splits but are flexible. They keep out of the way, center to edge unless they have to move to circle, and then they play edge. They also rotate a lot, which could be a problem as we will see with some of these dangerous teams. I8 don't split much in the late game, but as we're focused on the early game, we won't get into that. Something to note here is that they have a lot of high highs and low lows, which could factor into this discussion. If they're not feeling good one day, these teams could easily take advantage of them early. First up is their drop rival, Navi. A strong team in the EMEA fall split, this patient team could easily outcamp them in the blue. Navi play very split, so could be unpredictable, especially when on bridges and when trying to rotate in the early to mid game. Falcons could also be an issue. This team plays edge, splits up and fans out, and are always willing to pick up strays, so an unsuspecting player from I8 could have a nasty surprise while rotating off the island. Typically, the Falcons care more about their own endgame than a couple of kills early on, so hopefully with a little maneuvering and a watchful eye, I8 can avoid them. IWNRX could be a difficult team to work around. Landing on the East Bridge, they tend to play split and spread quite far. This is evident in their drop locations. Whilst in fights with IWNRX, I8 need to be careful of off angles. This team will use a mixture of strategies, using vehicles to bait and gain info and prone players to back that up. I8 shouldn't trust their nades either, as IWNRX will run past them to render utilities useless. A bridge camp or fight on the West Mainland would not be a good idea here. In short, I8 need to be careful. They need to show a strong front of aggression towards Navi, avoid Falcons, and avoid unnecessary fights with IWNRX by either rotating late or using a botation strategy. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are about this issue. Will I8 succeed in controlling the island area, or will they have to change their strategy? Don't forget to check out the links in the description to follow my social medias and to get personalized coaching and analysis. Also, check out my memberships where you have access to special coaching live streams once a week. Until then, see you next time.